All right, welcome everyone. SQL Saturday San Diego. Woo! All right. My name's Andrew Nakamura. I work at Keck Medicine of USC. Anyone heard of that little school over there, USC? How big do you think that hospital, Keck Medicine, how big do you think that hospital really is? I mean, it looks like a, just partnership with the LA County, right? Small school, teach kids how to become nurses and doctors. How big do you think the school is? Is it really big or really small or what? Huge? Define huge. Big. So there's my introduction, right? I'm a SQL DBA. There's the contact, right? Pretty email, right? Andy@andynakamura.com. I did have a blog, but I took it down. Hopefully I'll put it back up. The LinkedIn is there, but I'll put up the slides somewhere. So how many servers do you have? So DBAs, DevOps people, how many servers do you have that you're maintaining and managing every day? Yes?
Myself or a group?
Group.
About 450.
450. Anyone else? About that size? That's a pretty big one. Four. So pretty wide range. So anyone right around that? So here's Keck Medicine. We've got about 100 SQL servers. We got 1,500 databases and counting. I should update that slide. We are starting to move to 2017. So we have versions 2000 all the way up to 2017. We do about 25 Ts every month of backups. That's a lot of data to handle. And 1 terabyte is our database sizes. So quite a big enterprise, right? Would you think? That's pretty fairly large, I would think. So this is a typical life of a DBA when you start learning the PowerShell kind of thing. So you build a SQL server, right? You get the request, build this SQL server. We bought this app, right? Need SQL server. So you do some backup, right? Hopefully. You test the job, and then you monitor. Pretty easy cycle, right? Anyone got anything else there? Something's missing. What's missing from this life cycle? Anything missing?
Restoring.
Restoring. Anything else? So I have a special guest speaker going to come for me. His name is Grant Fitchie. Anyone heard of him? Yeah, if you've been with PASH, you kind of know him around. So let's see what Grant Fitchie has to say about my little flow there.
I want to talk to you today about testing backups. I want to talk to you today about testing your backups. You know what? You're not testing your backups. I know you're not testing your backups. You want to know how I know? I'm on the forums. Help me, my backup doesn't work. Yeah, I read it. I see them every single day. You're not testing your backups. You need to test your backups. Look, backups are a fundamental part of your disaster recovery process. You need to have backups in place. It's fundamental. If you're not testing those backups, you don't know what you've got. A file is just a file. A backup is a restored database. If you're not running DBCC on a regular basis, that's Database Consistency Checker, then you have no clue what your database looks like. Therefore, when you're running your backups and you go to restore them later and it's horribly messed up, it's your fault. You've screwed up because you're not running your database consistency checks. Those must be run as part of a backup process. Now I know there's a few of you out there that are already going, ha, cool, I'm covered. I've got consistency checks in place. Yeah, guess what? Have you checked your files? Do you know that what got written out to that data, to that file is good? No, I'll bet you didn't. There's this little thing called checksum. If you're not using it, you don't have a clue what's going on inside of your files. There could be anything written out to them. You don't know. Checksum is a vital part of any kind of backup process because what it's going to do is create a little checksum process. Look up what that is. You can learn. And it's going to allow you to verify that as each page gets written, it's written correctly and successfully. If you're not running checksum, you don't have a clue what's getting written. So you must run that as part of your backup process. Now there's even a few more people out there. Now they're really smug. Well, I'm running DBCC, I'm running checksum, I'm covered. I don't need to do anything else, do I? Wrong! Are you running verify only? You must run verify only. This allows you to take any backup that you've run and validate that it is a valid backup after the files have been written out. Just because you've got a successful checksum doesn't mean you've got a good backup header. For crying out loud, you've got to check all these things. You've got to check all these things because of your DR problem. Disaster recovery hits the issues. If you're running verify only, you're covered. Almost. Got the last few people, didn't I? You think that's it. You think if you've got database consistency checks, you've got checksum, you've got verify only, you're covered. Bad news. Verify only doesn't check the entire header. There are still parts of the backup header that are not completely checked by verify only. The only way to check those? Run a restore. If you're not testing,
All right, thank you,
your
Grant.
backups, your restore
Should
process,
hand it up for
you don't
Grant,
know what
right?
you've got.
So what's
We'll be
missing?
back online.
What's missing? It's not just you
I can't get my
restoring
restores to run.
backup, right?
That's because
You have to
you're not
test the
verifying your
backup.
backups. So
Now,
get out there and
I
get
know
it
what you're
done.
saying. You're saying, wait, how does Keck Medicine, didn't you say you have 1,500 databases? How in the world do you do this on a regular scheduled time frame when you're doing 25 T's of backup? You're kidding me. Who would have this time, right? Oh, well. Before the restores, how many are still doing the restores from SQL Server Management Studio, SSMS? So you get a call in ticket, I need a restore, so you go to your little window, right? SSMS, right stick, restore there, yeah. Sometimes, okay, anyone else? You get a restore request. How many are doing it from the command prompt? Anyone slick enough to get their stuff in command prompt anytime? No command prompt guys? All right, command prompt guy.
Sometimes.
All right, but how many are doing it from PowerShell? No, nobody from PowerShell? Come on, PowerShell's gonna be the new way, right? All right, one guy. It did once. So, you know, the problem is when you're a new DBA or you're just getting started or you're a senior, your journey of learning PowerShell looks something like this, right? Here, Family Circus is, hey, quick, Billy, run these out to the mailbox. They need to be sent today. Like the backup needs to be done right now, 3 o'clock before you go home. Gotta get this backup done. Okay, let me try PowerShell. And you start wandering around like that, right? You wander, and by the time you get there, you know, it's 5:30 Friday evening. You're like, oh, I wanna go home already. It's too late. Just miss them. So the typical PowerShell journey for a DBA, learn something like this, right? You learn little commandlets, right? Get service, right? You learn little cool tricks, go online. Hey, I could do this, I could do that, right? And you save them, and then you share them with others. The only problem is this only happens for you. Sometimes you get them from the internet, right? And then you store them, and then you share them with your friends. But, you know, that's a bad thing. Why is that a bad thing? Because it's not a standard, right? You're not getting a standardized way. It's sort of your custom scripts, and now you got like 50 gazillion custom scripts out there, and you're like, which one does what now? And I was solving that problem for this one point, and now I got another problem. Where do I tweak that? Where was it, right? Hopefully you're keeping your scripts organized, but probably better just use DBA Tools. Anyone heard of DBA Tools before? All right, DBA Tools. It's a open source, right? You know, 200 commands, easy to install. It's very simple forward, right? Dedicated group of DBAs. When I say dedicated, I mean when you say, I got this problem, you go on their Slack channel, I got this problem, one of your scripts is not working. I mean, it's better than Microsoft support sometimes. But the most important thing, right, it's open source. We like open source, right? Because it's hard to explain to management, I want to use this stuff, right? And it costs something. But don't forget, open source, right? You got to take that back to management. Say, this stuff is free, right? It's from the SQL Server Community Collaborative. You know what that means? That means just DBAs like you or developers, you can come together and there's one central repository that can have all your central scripts. Wouldn't that be amazing? And wouldn't you like to have a central repository, an area where you all come together and just share stuff and say, you know, I have this problem and this is what I think it should do, and yeah, let's build something like that. So when you have the PowerShell journey, right, you learn the commandlets. DBA Tools should be your first one, right? After you learn your commandlets, just go to DBA Tools. Don't reinvent the wheel, just go there, DBA Tools. Then you go to something called DBA Reports. Wow, amazing. They have reports. It's already done. You don't reinvent the wheel. You don't have to customize all the little SSRS packages. You don't do that. Just go to their site, snag their code, import your data, boop, done. You look like a hero. I'll show that in a minute. And it's from SQL Collaborative. Anyone want to see the demo? All right, let's just see this demo. Oh, yeah, there you go. All right. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Okay. I forgot one thing in my introduction, and I have to apologize to you for all of this. So today is what day? Saturday. And if you didn't know that sometimes in the world you have Christians, crazy Christians. Sometimes they're called Seventh-day Adventists. I just happen to be one. And if you know about Seventh-day Adventists, they have a weird thing called Sabbath, which just happens to be today. And I just happen to be in a church that I'm the teacher there. And if this ever got on YouTube for some reason, they'll say, Teacher Andy, I thought you said in Sabbath we're not supposed to do this kind of thing. Yes, that's true. So if you wouldn't mind, let me do this small prayer, just in case I have any of my students saying, look, you didn't do this. You're not supposed to be at that conference. So just give me 2 minutes. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for this SQL Saturday. Thank you for all my attendees. May you bless them. May they come out with such great knowledge they can learn DBA tools, become mighty heroes in PowerShell. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Now I'm covered, right? So here you are. And of course, I just told you I'm a Bible teacher, right? And one of the things you're going to learn is the first 5 books of the Bible. How many of you know the first 5 books of the Bible? Let me tell them to you. It's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Numbers. But this is a database conference, right? So here I have 4 SQL servers. I have 4 SQL servers here. No databases. I'll show you here, right? Maybe I should actually scroll down. Refresh, right? No databases there. I got this little script, and all it's going to do is just create, hopefully. Okay, 5 databases, right? Names of the Bible there. Now, how many of you are running what's called Ola Hologram scripts? Ola Hologram? Okay, you should look that up, right? Ola Hologram. So what they are is a bunch of scripts maintained for you. You don't do anything, you just install it, and hopefully you'll look them through. What you get is a bunch of scripts that look like this, and what they can do is they can make your life a lot easier. Running backups. So we're just going to take a full backup here, right, just like many of you do in your enterprise. So we just taken a full backup, right? 5 databases, full backup. Everyone got that? But who just has 5 databases and full backup, right? All this script is going to do is go into those tables, right? And go into those databases and script inside a little table called book detail. And then we're going to come here, and that was the wrong thing. Go back. And I'm going to make a diff backup. So everyone understands? So you have a full backup. And then I made some changes on database, and you make a diff backup. Now, for those of you who don't understand database backup, you have a full, and then you make changes, and then you make a diff. That way you don't have to run the full all the time. You can just do the full and the diff, right? If I can connect this.
You have to do backup for every individual file?
Oh. No, that's what the Ola Hologram does for you, right? So it can just go through all your databases, pull them out. Of course, there are parameters you can use, but the default ones that come out of the box from Ola Hologram, they just say, use this parameterized diff, and poof, goes through all your user databases, backs them up. Now, let's say you go through again, right? And it's not here. Let's just try that. So how many of you would think that there's an adversary called Satan out there who hates the Bible, right? You're supposed to learn something, right? So what if you were to come in here, let's just refresh this, make sure we're all there. And let's say you have Satan come in and he says, I don't like the Bible. I don't like you. I'm just going to delete these. So there, finally Satan, he's figured it out. No more databases. So how many of you would get the call, right, from help desk? We need to restore the database. Now, how many of you would do the SSMS way, right? You go here, you go to databases, right click, you go here, restore database, you know, click, 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 right? But they say they want it at a certain time frame when the time you made the diff. So now what do you have to do? You do the full database restore, and then what? Put it in no recovery, then you put the diff on, and then, now what if they said, can you do all of them? So now you have to do this thing 5 freaking times, right? And if you add the diffs, it's 5 times for the diff. Wouldn't there be an easier way to do this? Oh, yes. And here we go. This is DBA Tools. Imagine that, right? And all you do is say restore database where it is. I want it to go on 04. And where is your backups? It's on G. There's the path. Let me show you the path there, because I guess that's important. Right? If you don't know how Hologram works, it makes a file directory for your server name. And inside the server, it's got 3. Oh, it should have 3. It should have the databases there, right? And it should have your diff, and if I made a transaction log, it would have log. So if you were to go into your SSMS, you would have to go to find this full backup, which would be here, right? Restore that, and then go to your diff and restore that. But that's kind of a pain to do 5, right? So what if you just did this and you just said, okay, can you just do that for me? And then it just runs this thing. And you're like, oh my goodness, what's it doing? And good thing it writes the script out for you, right? So you can see exactly what it's doing, right? Restore database, and basically just kind of scripted it out for you. Then ran it in here. And then you went in here and you said, hey, look, Satan. Beat you out. Done! Isn't that amazing? Wow, look at that. Look, you even see the table in there, right? That we put there. That was just by a script. Well, don't you hate those developers? They get these wild and crazy ideas, right? You see this version is in version 11, right? But they say, oh, you know what? We're testing stuff in 2014. Could you please restore this, how many get this, onto another server, like our dev test server? Can you restore this? And I said, oh yeah, you know, it's 5 o'clock Friday, and look how hard I got to work here. That's my hard work that I have to do.
You still don't do it, though. Never let them know you're going to stay late on Friday.
Never let them know, right? You're like, oh, okay, you know, it's so hard, right? You know, on Dev 3, there's no databases there, or were none.
And they'll ask you to do it again.
And then you're like, well, this is fine, you know, okay, that's great. And that's what DBA Tools can give you, but suppose you wanted to do something like this.
Credential there.
What?
The credential.
The credentials. So,
And what if I have, a lot of different servers?
so what happened was, on my original setup that I had here, I was connecting through an SA account. Oh no. And so if you use a SQL credential, you were using this kind of credentials. So what I did is I masked the SQL credentials and I used that SA account to connect through all the servers. Hopefully you don't do that, right? Hopefully you're using a domain account or something like this, your admin DBA, right? So you should have all rights. So you would use your admin DBA or some type of DBA credential, some administrative credentials, and then you don't need that SQL credential, right? The only reason why you have that tag up there is because I was connected outside of my little play domain in here. But hopefully you just don't use that, and by default it's going to use AD credentials. Does that answer your question? So the question was, what if I have a bunch of servers and you have the SQL credential, but I want to use Windows credential? As you can see, you could use both. It defaults to Windows, but if you want a SQL credential, there it is, like a restore credential that you're using. But what if you have something like this? You notice in this one, I'm doing restore DBA database. I'm taking it to my 02 database, using the same script, 04, right? Same kind of maintenance solution, but this time I'm doing something a little different. Anyone see that? What's the next slide there? You see those two little lines there? I'm writing out to a table, and I'm dumping the table into what's called this NYCV desktop. You see that right there? Everyone see that? I'll point that. Right there? NYCV desktop, right? I'll just show it up over here, just so. This one. So exactly what am I doing? Anyone know? No? Anyone know? Well,
the output of the store.
That's right. And then what?
Then you're moving it forward to write to the file.
Right, and then?
Then you're storing it into another table.
Into another table called DBA Restore. Now, just let you make sure, right? Keep me honest, right? So there's desktop. So there's my DBA Tools, right? And there's nothing there, right? So no hocus pocus. Run this guy, and hopefully it'll work. So what is he going to do? Restore the database, right? But this time there's going to be some data. Like if you want to run this just in your little test thing. Let me just refresh. And voila, you have this table. Hey, let's look in this table. Exactly what do you get in this table? Well, you get what kind of instance did you do? What database name was it? Did you recover it? Where the backup files are, where you restored it, where you restored. It gives you all of that for free. You don't have to do anything, just write the code, right? Just snag it off DBA Tools, just put it there, and you get all this. It's done for you. Don't reinvent the wheel, just snag it off the internet, just plug it in, boom. You don't have to write the table, you don't do anything, you just write the code, right? Just write that. Easy speasy, yes?
What if it has an error? Does it write in it had an error, right? Do you want to restore?
It does. So the question was, what if you get an error? Can you put the error somewhere? Of course, they don't think of all this for you, right? So yes, there is an error path. There's a little pipe where the error goes. You can put it to a CSV file, text file. But wait, what did Grant Fritchie say? Do you remember? He says it wasn't just the problem with restoring. What was the problem? Do you remember? What? You have to test the backup. That doesn't look like a test, right? That looks like I'm restoring backup. Man, that's a pain. Okay, so I get this little data here, and that's fine. But let's just say you have this. Supposing, I hope this works. Do I have the connection? Change connection, no. Let's just put it there. Come on, work. Supposing I have this guy. How many know how many books in the Old Testament? See? Anyone? 39 books. Now let's say you have 39 databases. Now you're going to do restore, and click in, or you're just going to do DBA Tools. Now, what if you have 1,000 databases? You see, think large. Like, if you have a lot of databases, you don't want to be clicking around in the SSMS at 5 o'clock Friday. You just want to run a script and say, okay, I'm done. It should be done in the morning, right? You don't want to be messing. So plan well. Just, you have lots of database. Now, let's just say we'll run into our full, and we just run that, and Hologram is nice enough to back up all our databases again, hopefully.
And so that script is in DBA Tools?
This script is on Ola Hologram's site. Yeah, if you don't know, just type in Google OLA space Hologram, HALLENGREN, something like that. Even if I misspelled it, Google will fix it. Right? Google's so wonderful. Okay, so now we have full backup. Now, what did Grant Ritchie say? He said we had to test backup, right? So I'm going to test it. Let's see if my SQL 01 is clean. Right? No databases. Let me refresh. No databases, right? And let's just test this, right? What is this doing? Well, this one looks like it's testing, but wait a minute. It's actually, so what is this thing doing? It's restoring, but it's putting a prefix in front of the restore. Everyone see that? So it's restoring, but it's just restoring on this prefix. So what it did was it went through Ola Hologram script, pulled up all the files, and just restored it with a prefix. Pretty simple, yes? And the way I did that was this little thing over here, and hopefully everyone see that, right? Right there, it says no drop. And the reason why you see all this is because it says verbose. Everyone see that? Let me run over here. It's hard, right? So everyone see no drop? And then you see this is from verbose. What happens if I take the no drop out? What do you think will happen? Come on, what will happen? It'll drop the database. Oh, wait, that sounds like testing a restore. Is that what it sounds like? That's what it sounds like, right? So if you take that out and you take out the verbose, what happens? You don't get any output, and it just runs, right? Like, oh, in a SQL job that you run right after the full backup, you just plug this in, right? Right after the backup, and then boop, all your databases are tested. And now I'm getting another thing.
You encounter an error.
Yes, what if you encountered the error, right? The famous dreaded error. Just like my friend said, if you encounter an error, there's a little switch there that says error output dumps to a file, and you get to look at that Monday morning.
Dump it to a table.
Could you dump it to a table? Very good. Question. You're ahead of me, though. So this right here, let's delete all the databases.
I like this.
Okay, delete all the databases, and my friend said, can you not break? Yeah.
Well, we don't have it. It's all blue.
With the network guys. Listen, infrastructure.
Yeah, where is it when you need it? Come on, all you have to do, come on baby, you just have to make one more, right? One more. Okay, here it is. Same command except what? Write it out to a table somewhere else, right? Run for me.
Andy, if the table exists, does it drop and recreate it? You just use
It just appends, right? That's why it says auto create table. It will append the data. If you don't have it there, it will create the data for you, then stick the data in there. Isn't that nice, right? So you just put that in there, and now you see wait, there's no verbose, right? No little table coming out, right? Everyone see that? Like the other one, there's no verbose output. And what else do you see? The no drop switch, right? So what is it doing? Restoring, drop, right? Restoring, drop, restoring, drop. Therefore, what? Space is saved. You're just churning through data, right? Restore, drop, restore, drop. You're testing the restores. And guess where this is going? All the output is going where? To a table. You can show your boss and say, look, I'm doing a good job. Give me a raise now, right? I need a raise, right? Because look at all this data I just saved you. Can you imagine this, right? Now, do you want to see, right? You want to see, right? You say, what kind? Oh, wrong one. Come on. Come on, guy. You just have to make it here. Come on. Come on, you just got to make it. Everyone pray. Here we go, right? Pray hard, angel. Here we go. And you select, and then you show your boss. Look, source, target, database, how big it was, what was the result. Here's your DBCC check. Who said that? Grant Fritchie. Here's when you started it. Here's when you ended. Here's how long it took. Here's your DBCC start. Here's your DBCC end, how long DBCC checked. Here's the backup date. Here's the backup file. What more do you want? Of course, you can add more stuff in there. Lots of data in DBA Tools. Lots of people working on this script and other scripts use DBA Tools. Now imagine you have 15,000 databases, 50,000 databases. You don't want to be doing this, right? You just want to run a script just like that, pipe it to a table, and then what do? Select all, equal, fail. Right? That's all you want to see. You don't want to see all the other stuff, and you're doing what Grant Fitchie said to do, right? But wait, there's more. And we don't need the junky thing here. Hopefully, oh!
Hey, you got through the last one.
I got through the last one, that's right. Yes, sir?
Can you go through all the servers?
Can I go through all?
Go through all the servers and then take out the backup?
Yes. If you didn't say, oh, I should have done it, but I didn't. Ola Hologram makes a server name, right? It will script the whole server with whatever path you feed it. So if you're pathing out to your SAN, like all your backups, to SQL backups, and inside got 50, 100, 200 SQL servers, and in there got 1,000 database apiece, it will scan all of that for you. You just push run, come back in the morning and look at your table. That's all you have to do. But wait, see if I can get there. And you thought you were done with DBA Tools, but wait, there's more. Hey, how about this? You get automated reporting. Wait, I don't have to do anything? You know, I just dump it to the table and, you know, it do it for me? That's right? That's what DBA Tools does, right? Look at this. You get presentations too. I don't know how to do this, right? You notice that one? Yeah. Hopefully that will be up. Hopefully that will be recorded on their site. Every single DBA Tools is presented, videoed, and put up just for you. Imagine that. And here, 287 commands and counting. Anyone know that date? Can you see that date? Can you read me that date?
September 13th.
September 13th, like, 2 weeks ago. These guys are like on it all the time, trying to build better and better just for you. Don't you think you should be at least looking at it? And say, maybe I can look at one of these scripts and saying, maybe it could solve a problem that I don't have to build, right? Before I let you go, right? Here. This is Power BI. And this is one of their reports. This is they already have built for you. Oh, you just wire it up to your data in DBA Tools. All the stuff is done for you. You don't create anything. You just plug in the thing and it starts counting for you automatically. Hey, a report. It's in Power BI and reporting services. They have both sets fully automated. You don't do anything. You just figure out how to run the scripts. It'll probably take you maybe a day or two to figure out how to wire up everything. So here's a summary, right? At the end of this session, you should have learned new solutions for Powershell DBA for restoring and testing your backups, right? PowerShell tools for free. You know, there was a point when I was burning out. And do you know why I was burning out? I was getting those 5 o'clock calls. And I was told, you got to restore it. We need it today. 5:03, we need it now. Man, you know, there's only so many you can take, right? And then you either grow your team, which is what I did. Thank you, Peter. And you give him the job to do. And he stays 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Or you just get DBA Tools, right? And you learn before you have those 5 o'clock calls, right? And join the SQL Collaborative. It's free to join. You just go. You can download their entire repository on GitHub and make it freely available. You can look at the source code, how they're writing the scripts. You can tweak it. You can make new changes for that. And the reason why I say avoid the burnout is because that's where I was. Please visit all those sponsors. Just a note on the sponsors. I've been attending SQL Saturday on and off. But every time I go, I may not win something, but it seems like every time I go, though, I learn something new. I meet new friends. And more than once, I do win something. And you could ask my coworker here how much stuff I've actually won. And I'm not really there to, you know, to learn anything. I'm just there to help. So even if you're there to help, stay at the end, right? Go for the sponsors. Here, again, if you have questions, don't avoid burnout. Because sometimes burnout helps. But before you go, here we go. Let's see if you could do this, right? All right, Angel. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. You too. When you put your cape on, you too don't have to be the ordinary DBA. When you walk into the office, you too can go 2 o'clock in the morning and says, yes, I'm the giraffe. I'm the super PowerShell guy. I can do this, and avoid the burnout. Because what's going to happen is you're just going to keep scripting, and you know what? Man, you just burn out. To the point when you're wearing a giraffe costume in a technical conference, and you're saying, any more questions on PowerShell and how you can learn it? Any questions? No questions.